So we've got to talk about Graham Platner, who is the Democrat Senate nominee in Maine. He is running up against Rhino Susan Collins. And yes, she is a rhino. I did acknowledge that, but we still have to vote for her. Okay? So if you live in the state of Maine, make sure you go support Susan Collins because she's about as good as we're going to get, at least as of right now, out of Maine, and she is better than the alternative. So let's keep her in the Senate, Susan Collins. Now, the rest of the senators that are rhinos, they can all go. You know, the John Thunes of the world, he's up for re-election in 2028 in South Dakota. The Tom Tillises, who's gone. The Mitch McConnells, he's gone. The John Cornyn's, he's gone, right? The Lisa Murkowski, she's up for re-election in 28. You know, amongst others. But Susan Collins, we got to send Susan Collins back to the Senate. She's better than Graham Platner. But we got to talk about Graham Platner because he's receiving a whole lot of backlash. One from mainstream media, CNN. Yeah, I know. Crazy, right? Communist News Network going after a Democrat. Yes, you're not going to want to miss it. But then also, former Jill Biden aide, Michael LaRosa, hopefully I'm pronouncing that correctly, recently said some interesting things about him as well that I think is quite telling in how bad Graham Platner really is, because typically you don't see the Democrat Party fracture off. Like, they typically defend one another or they just don't say anything at all. But the fact that you have individuals coming out and speaking negatively on a Democrat candidate tells you everything you need to know. He's really, really terrible. But here's the clip of Michael. Check it out.
I'm shocked at some of the people, some of the Democrats who I consider friends, being so all or nothing about this guy. And I don't really understand why. He is not really representative of the values I would expect in a Democratic candidate, even by today's standards. I'm a little surprised at the number of people who are circling the wagons just to beat Susan Collins. I mean, I get it. Like, I want the Senate seat. I want Democrats to win. I want Chuck Schumer to be the majority leader. But I'm not willing to take anybody off the street and run them just because they, arouse some vibes in a few, portions of the Democratic Party. Like, that's just not for me. And I'm good. I don't need to support a Democrat who has Nazi tattoos. It's like, not it's not my thing. I'm not going to. So, like, do I want Susan Collins to win? Not necessarily, but she's much more my style than somebody like a who I consider kind of a performative economic populist like Graham Platner, uh, who went to Hotchkiss and a another high school that I couldn't afford, another private prep school that my family certainly couldn't afford. So it's kind of odd to hear him talk about the elite when he was educated by the most elite of New England prep schools. And that shouldn't disqualify him either. It's his own behavior that disqualifies him. It's his own history of rhetoric, of advocating for political violence, of mocking wounded US soldiers shot by the Taliban. Um, all of that stuff. It's just not worth it for me as a Democrat. Like, we could do better. We should want better in our candidates. We don't need candidates like that in our party, just simply because they have a D next to their name. Big Tent Party does not mean anything goes, and anyone goes. It shouldn't mean that, and it doesn't for me. I'm just really surprised at the number of people who, on my side, who are willing to just throw their lot in with a guy as troubled as this one, simply because he has a D next to their name. That does not make them a good candidate. It won't make him a good senator. It just makes him a D. And what's the point in having a party if you don't have standards anymore?
Yeah. Quite interesting. coming from a party that typically defends people like that, or at best just doesn't say anything at all. That should tell you everything you need to know about Graham Platner, and why I'm continuously saying Susan Collins has got to go back to the Senate, because I see people, and once again, this is also another reason why I wouldn't necessarily want to be in Washington. It's because you got to think strategy on a certain level. And when I see people say, we got to get rid of Susan Collins, we got to get rid of Susan Collins, it's like, how? It's Maine. Like, this is like not the place where you're gonna get like a strong America first, Republican, at least not now. Maybe sometime in the future, and we can work on that 100%, but get rid of her for what? Like, and replace her with Graham Platner? I'm confused. To replace her with an America First Republican is probably going to lose in Maine, or that would lose in Maine. I mean, let's just be quite honest. I think that's a horrible idea. You got to strategize a little bit. Like, if I was in DC, I would endorse Susan Collins, and I know there would be a lot of people who would look at me sideways, like, bro, I thought he was one of us, and I'm like, I am, but I understand. Like, we still have to have a majority, first off, and two, we don't have the numbers in Maine right now. We just don't. So she's better than nothing at all, and most certainly better than a guy like Graham Platner. But, there's certain situations and circumstances where you can't come out and say exactly what it is that you mean. It's not like I could come out and say, yeah, I'm not really the biggest fan of Susan Collins, but, we'll figure out how to primary her later. Let's get her in now. Like, that's a horrible thing. You know what I mean? Like, so people are going to be upset that I endorsed her, but if I don't endorse her, she might lose. You know what I mean? Like, it's weird. It's weird, and would be frustrating to say the least. But let's get into this clip of Michael Smerconish on CNN and his glowing review of Graham Platner. Check it out.
Social media now from the program so far. Follow me on X. Check out my YouTube page. You know where to locate me. Okay, here we go. You're nothing but a right-wing, Trump bootlicking MAGA hack. CNN should fire your ass. Yeah! You belong on OAN or Newsmax. All right, let's just stop for a moment and reflect on why I am a Trump ass kisser, according to you. Because I did what today? I came on air and I said, Democrats have a blind spot. And here's exhibit A of the blind spot. They're willing to overlook the fact that a Senate candidate had a Nazi tattoo on his chest for nearly 20 years. For nearly 20 years, and the K-file investigation suggests he knew exactly what it was. So he gets out of the shower every day and looks at himself in the mirror and he sees a Nazi tattoo and he's cool with it and you're cool with it until he decides that he's going to run for the United States Senate. And that's okay. And then he says of an Army combat veteran, the stupid MFer doesn't deserve to be alive. After watching that combat video, and now you've seen the video and you've met the man. 47 million people have met the man. And Democrats are just willing to turn a blind eye to that. A blind eye, because Platner, to them, he's a fighter. He'll go knee the president in the groin, and that's what we want. And we are willing to look the other way if you will take the fight to the man. That's what you're saying. And then I highlighted a different way of approaching these matters by pointing out that there's a Pennsylvania Supreme Court justice just retained by a massive retention vote who says, I've had enough. This party has acquiesced to anti-Semitism, and I'm no longer comfortable here. I'm no longer comfortable in a party that tolerates Nazi tattoos and won't speak out against record-high anti-Semitism. I'm becoming an independent. And for that, I'm a Trump ass kisser.
You know it's bad when the Democrat Party is still hemorrhaging support. You thought it'd be over by now. The bleeding would have stopped. But as you heard there, they're still losing supporters. Still to this day. To this day. It's crazy, man. It's crazy. I don't see how they recover. I really don't.
Anti-Semitism. I'm becoming an independent. And for that, I'm a Trump ass kisser, according to you. Nope, I don't think so. I don't think so. And did you miss the segment that followed the opening commentary where with Dr. Robert Pape, we discussed all that's gone wrong in Iran and how there's no easy way out? I'm calling balls and strikes. Sometimes they are critical of the president and sometimes they are more defensive of his conduct. And you are selecting which segment of this program meets your political agenda, not mine. That's the way that I'm rolling.
Wow. Coming from the Communist News Network, I'm impressed. I'm impressed. Honest coverage of who Graham Platner really is. Honest pushback on Graham Platner. It's a step in the right direction, I must admit. It's a step in the right direction. Because in the past, once again, you typically didn't get this, especially from mainstream media. You darn sure didn't get it from Democrats. You still don't. Right? You get ignored. You get silence. When Democrats know that they're really up against it, they go silent. They don't say anything. They go quiet. They go missing. For example, where's Chuck Schumer? Has anybody seen Chuck Schumer recently? Nope. I wonder why. Is it because he doesn't want to get asked about Graham Platner? Maybe, just maybe. Just saying. I'm just saying. You know? They always go silent. They don't answer anything. It's crazy. But there you have it. Smirconish. Yeah, on CNN, as y'all see there, calling out the Democrat Party nominee, Graham Platner, in the state of Maine on national television. I love to see it. I just wanted to share that story with you all. Y'all get in the comments. Let me know your thoughts and your opinions. Stay safe out there. Peace and love. I'm out.